and we're going to continue with our product setup here. Now let's go take some stuff off of this side that we know we're not going to need. I'm not going to use music or records. I'm not going to have any manufacturers on here. So if we have manufacturers on here, I'm going to take it off. Okay, so let's go back before we continue the products. Let's go back to tools and layout boxes. Now, there's our search, categories, what's new, manufacturers. I'm going to turn this one off. Okay, so get rid of that. And then just get rid of anything else on here you know you don't want. I don't want this information. See, we have, if we go down the side here, actually, I do want information, but I don't want more information. So I'm going to get rid of that. That's this one. Okay, and go back and refresh here. And I want to take off record companies, music genres. I'm going to leave the search on and the best sellers on. Okay, so let's go back here. So music genres. Record companies. And manufacturers I'm not going to be using, so I'm going to take that off. If you're going to use manufacturers, of course, you'll leave it on. Okay, so I think that's all I need to do there. Let's do a refresh here. I can also move something from the left to the right or the right to the left. Let's move the information over here. Okay, so here's information. Let's edit. And let's move it to the right. And update. Okay, now I didn't update the sort order, so it's going to show up wherever sort order 40 says. Okay, which is right above who's online, which is where I wanted it anyway. But you'd use the sort order to move it around. Okay, so that's how you can move things back and forth. Alright, so we got this part done. Now let's continue with our product setup. So let's go back here and just create one called t-shirts. This will just be so we can use the attributes. Yeah, let's save. Now let's go into t-shirts, and now we could break this down further. We could say men's, women's, or however we want to break out our categories. I'm just going to go and add a new product, and I'm going to have product general this time. So new product. Okay, again, the data available. It doesn't look much different here. So let's say black t-shirt. Oh no, let's say basic t-shirt. Okay, if it's free, if it's call for price, if it's priced by attribute. So if you're going to have a black one that was $10 and a blue one that was $9, you could price it by attribute here. tax class, product price, 95. Okay, so shipping address required because now we have a physical product. Okay, product quantity box shows. Yes, because they can order however many they want. So minimum is 1, unlimited, or if you can only want them to be able to order 5, put 5 or 5 here. Okay, quantity minimum unit mix. We don't need that for this one. Okay, and then the product description here. Okay, so basic t-shirt. Okay, so product quantity, that's how many you have. If you're going to have a model, you put it in here. Again, with your picture, if you have one. Down here, the URL for the product. The shipping weight. Say 0.5. And then the sort order here again. Let's preview. Okay, so here it is here. Insert. Okay, now there is our t-shirt. Now, what we want to do now is set up some attributes. So let's go down to the attribute controller, and then we're going to go to t-shirt, and then we can add some attributes down here. Okay, so we're going to have color black, so let's insert. And then we'll go back, we'll say color blue, insert, and then we'll do color green, insert. So you just basically whatever you need here. So color white, insert. So you get the idea there. And then we also want size. Okay, so size large, insert. Size medium, insert. Okay, now you see what's happening here. Here's our colors. And this is where we can add an amount for that particular color or size. Okay, so we got medium, large, small, and extra small. Okay, so now what we can do, for instance, if we want to, for an extra large, we want to charge an extra $2, you can go into edit here, and then we can go, I guess large, we don't seem to have extra large in this case, so what we can do is say plus 2.00. Okay, and then you have the same thing for weight, order, price factor. There's different things you can do here. You have a quantity price discount, one-time attribute quantity discount. You have price per words and price per letters. Okay, and then include base price when priced by attribute. And then this purple box over here, we want to make sure that's yes, and that's the default. Okay, and then of course we can bring up an image for this particular attribute. Okay, and then let's update. Okay, now when we roll down here, you'll see that large has a $2 price premium. Okay, now remember we saw products before that said linked on them, and that is so you can put them in multiple categories. So if we go down here to Link Manager, we can add it to another category as well. We don't have one that we want to put it in this case, but this is where you could do that. Okay, let's go back to our main page here. Here's our t-shirt for $15.95. And then we have, okay, so here's what you see here. We have 0.5 pounds. That was our weight that we put in. 10,000 units in stock. That was our number of units. And it's starting at $15.95 because of our attributes. So here we have our colors: green, blue, black, and white. Here we have our size. Now, see there it says large plus $2. Now, if we go add to my cart, you'll see now it's $17.95. Okay, so that's how you work with the attributes with your products. You'll see the estimate shipping down here. This would be attached to our account. It needs to know where we are. But if we do an estimate shipping, it comes up with a box like this. And these are the available shipping methods that we had in there. And it shows them the best one and what it costs for the different ways they can do it here. Okay, so they would select, for instance, say California. Okay, and it would calculate there. Okay, so that's how the attributes work. Okay, we've pretty much gone over most of it. That was our attributes, our download manager. This is from the previous video where we set up our downloadable file for Google Drive video series. It's in here, and this is where you can edit things. We've been through the options and options value. We already did that. Manufacturers, if you're going to use manufacturers, is where you do it here. Any reviews, we kind of went through this at the beginning, but what I want to get to is specials. And here you can create a new special product. So we could say that we're going to get the Google Drive video series here, and we're going to give it a special price of $17. And then we're going to make it from whenever, let's say from now, and it defaults a week here, but we could do whatever we want with it. And then insert. Okay, and then there it is, says 37%. Okay, and then if we go over here now, you'll see specials, and there's our Google Drive video series in the special side, and it's also marked down over here. So that's how you can give some special pricing. And then featured products, just what it says. You can make a product a featured product, put in a featured product section. So let's say t-shirt. And we'll feature it from the 24th to whatever, the 26th. Insert. And then when we go over here, here's our featured products, and there is our t-shirt. Monthly features down there. And it's over here as well. Now remember, we can change the sort order of these and move them around in Tools. And then we have the sales maker. Okay, let's make a new sale. And give it a sale name. Say Halloween sale. Now deductions, we can deduct an amount or a percent. Let's say we're going to deduct 15%. Now we can give it a product price range. So we could go 0 to 99999, or we could set it to whatever price range you want the sale to be on. So I'm going to go 0 to 99999 to cover all the products. The start date and the end date. So we'll start now, ending the end of the month. And then it's going to be for the entire catalog. You could also do it this way. Now we have gift certificates in here, so we may not want to do entire catalog, or they're going to get a gift certificate for 15% off, which is real money. So let's say that we're going to do it for ebooks, t-shirts, video tutorials, but not for gift certificates. Let's insert. And there we have our sale set up for us. Okay, now when we go back here, you'll notice the gift certificates are unchanged, but we've also have multiple discounts on here now. Now they didn't quite work right because we have two different discounts being applied here. So we would probably want to take the other discounts off before we use the sale maker. That's what this Google Drive video is here. It had the sale for 17 and then it took the 15% off the 27 and used that. So it looks a little funny that way. Okay, so that's it. You've now been through setting up a e-commerce store using ZenCart.